Here we go. We are now live. Hello and welcome back to A Boring Revolution, your number one news source for everything in regards to the Boring Company. Welcome on this very, very fine day. Last night we had some excellent news. The Las Vegas project is going to happen. It's been approved. The previous project that was meant to happen, this so-called gondola style mass transit system, didn't stand a chance. It never stood a chance. And the reason is, in every boardroom there's an accountant, and the accountant looks at numbers, and there's no way he's going to choose a scheme that costs nearly 200 million over a scheme that costs 50. That's 4 times as much. It's too much. Anyway, thank you for everyone who's joining us today. Let's see what we've got in the comments section. Hello, Alan Davies. Hello to the Netherlands. Hello, Bubble Elvis. How you doing, mate? Great to see you here again. Keep joining us. We're going to be doing a lot more live streams over the next few months. As I get used to Ecamm Live. Been having a few minor problems, but don't worry, I think I've fixed them all. So keep asking your questions in the comment section, and I'll go through them as we run through this news presentation. So guys, let's have a look. So if you've been following my Twitter feed, you'll know that I've been really heavy in on the Boring Company news these past sort of 18 hours or so. Lots and lots of things been happening, and I'm very confident the Boring Company is going to pull off this project in Las Vegas, record time, under budget, and to a very high quality standard. I think Elon Musk is assembling an amazing team at the Boring Company. I think it's only going to improve. The technology is going to improve dramatically over the next 2 years, up to the point where it's actually cheaper to dig a tunnel that's a mile long rather than actually build a road that's a mile long. But let's get into this. We've got a video to watch as well. No sound, I'm afraid, as I've not worked out how that's going to work with Ecamm Live yet, but it's better to watch it. We've got this image here as well, which I think is absolutely fascinating to look at. We're going to look at that in a minute. If you've been following my Twitter feed, you know that I've been in a little bit of a Twitter war over the last 24 hours. Some so-called engineer/consultant has been giving me a bit of stick about the Boring Company, but I've been educating him into why the Boring Company is the future of mass transit. So let's get going. So breaking news is that Las Vegas project is going to be, or has been approved already. It is planning to commence on, or actual construction to commence in around September timeframe of this year. That's right, 2019. So Elon Musk comes out of nowhere and surprises everyone by saying that they can finish it by the end of the year. So by sort of like Christmas time, they are going to have finished this project in Las Vegas, which is insane. Even I think this is too ambitious. I don't know what to say to that, but anyone that's going to, set a really tough target and get close to that target, they deserve, credit for that. And that's what Elon Musk does. He does it at Tesla, he does it at SpaceX, and he's going to do it at the Boring Company. He's going to set a really tough target. Maybe they finish in the end of January, maybe February or March 2020. But still, that means we're going to get paid our money by the Las Vegas Convention Center, and it will be seen as a massive success. Maybe some of the mainstream media might make it out as though that's a failure, but the actual official deadline for this project, I believe, is the first week of January in 2021, which will be ready for CES, or the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas. I think it's good having ambitious people set ambitious targets. I think they'll miss that target, but I think they'll be very close to it. They might only offshoot it by a few weeks. This is a video that came out only about 5 or 6 hours ago. It is in the Hawthorne Test tunnel. This woman here is called Jen. You might recognise her from the first presentation that the Boeing company ever did. She still works for the company. She's still quite, a high up player in the company in terms of sort of investor relations and marketing the project. So, good on her for doing that. And I tell you what, let's watch this video and I'll talk you through what I'm seeing as it comes up. So I've turned the sound off because it wasn't coming through on the speakers correctly when I tested it before. So, oh wow, I might have to turn the quality down on this actually. That's why. There we go. There we go. Here we go. So, first thing that I notice is this lift is reasonably fast, but it's still quite slow. Gets on there, absolutely smashes the accelerator, boom, straight away he's up beyond 100 miles per hour. If you look down this tunnel, I was expecting to see a spur that was linking up that property that they had bought in Hawthorne with the test elevator. According to this, it's not there. Either they've not finished it or they've not yet started it. I was under the impression they had already started this, so I was quite surprised not to see it. But never mind. As you can see, as it goes around the corner here, it has to decelerate quite quickly. But that's what we expected because this tunnel is only 1.14 miles long, straight up the ramp. This is like a 1 in 3 ramp, which works quite well, really. Boom. 1 minute 23 seconds I have there for getting from one end of the tunnel to the other. So that's not bad. That is not bad at all, considering we spent close to 18 seconds in that elevator. So, a minute, including acceleration and deacceleration. They could do, obviously, a lot better if they had, say, a 3-mile tunnel. They'd be able to get up to the top speed and maintain that top speed for close to maybe 2 minutes. I think that's a damn good thing. Damn good thing. One thing I just wanted to... In fact, I'll go back. Because I'm trying to look for... Yeah, so that ventilation ductwork is still there. I don't think they necessarily need that. But I think just for the sake of the regulators, they're keeping it in there. So, what else do I want to talk about? I want to talk about this render, this architectural render that has been published. This is actually going to be the Las Vegas Convention Center. I'm not sure where this is, at which end of the tunnel, but this is a very interesting to see the kind of vision that the Boeing company is going for here. As you see, we've got essentially 3 bays. Each bay is double loaded, and then you can have stacks of up to 4 vehicles. And it looks like you've got these points here where you can interact with. Maybe it has an information board telling you which pod it is. So maybe you interact with your app, you book your ticket. It says go to bay, let's say bay C. You get to bay C, you join the queue, and it's letting in 12 to 14 people into a pod at any given time. There's lots of pods lining up, and then you're off on your journey fairly quickly. I'd imagine they would need people manning this system, actual people, guiding people into the relevant queues, ensuring that they get in there and they get onto the pod as quickly as possible. One thing to note is, look at the distance between these 2 retaining walls. You can't even see the retaining wall on this side, but the one on the top right hand side looks like some kind of arched ceiling, although you can't quite make it out. You've got to imagine that these are both act almost essentially as retaining walls. So you've got a lot of lateral earth pressure, and that is pushing the walls in, trying to make the walls almost bend. So you've got to make sure that is a really thick wall, or you include either an arch or a prop in between those 2 retaining walls. So it'll be interesting to see if they actually build it like this. Maybe because it's a render, they've not included all the columns. I'm unsure, but it's a really beautiful kind of crystal clear elevation of how this is going to look in the future. Nice and easy for people to get on their pods. No need to buy tickets. You do it all on your phone. So this is the best news article that I'd recommend reading. Definitely get in on there, guys. Kind of confirms what I was saying in the last episode. Project is expected to be completed in time to be used at the Consumer Electronics Show in January 2021. Elon Musk wants to complete it a year early. Then Musk got on Twitter and suggested the project could be running by the end of the year. Of the various projects the company has taken on, Las Vegas Tunnel seems likely to be the first to finish. I agree with that. So far, the Boeing company has completed one 1.14 mile tunnel in Hawthorne, California. Musk said at the time that the tunnel cost $10 million to complete and took a year and a half to build. It is not clear what kind of vehicles will be used in the Las Vegas tunnel. I think they're going to be modified Model X's and potentially Model 3s, but we'll have to see. If you remember, I focused quite a lot on this particular article from The Guardian. It went way into detail in regards to how much this is all going to cost, which was actually wrong. I think it came out at 48. So unless they've been fed this information before the contract was officially signed off, maybe the Boeing company convinced the Las Vegas Convention Center to add an extra bay in one of the stations. Maybe that's where the cost has come from. I'm unsure, or maybe they just didn't include a particular element. But as you can see, they get paid as they complete various milestones. So they get $1 million up front before they've even, dug the first hole. They receive more money as it hits various milestones, including $2.5 million for excavating the first station, which they'll do fairly quickly, and $3.2 million for completing the first 100 feet of tunnel, which is going to be very easy to achieve, really. Just got to assemble the TBMs. I presume that we're using 2 TBMs, but we'll have to find out. Even once Las Vegas Loop is up and running, the Boeing company is not off the hook. The contract specifies that if the system is unable to provide full passenger capacity during the first 18 months, the Boeing company will pay a penalty of $300,000 per event, up to a maximum or total of $4.5 million. So to achieve that, they need to move 6.2 pods per minute from each station. They need around 11 to 12 people in each pod. So they need quite a few pods. They probably need close to 300 pods, and you think that some are going to be in and out of the system recharging at various points. Most systems like to face the toughest test almost immediately. I don't think they will. Well, this article's not aged that well, but it was back in, like, when was it? Like a week ago, it was a very kind of, no one else was saying this. Suddenly, as of yesterday, everyone's talking about the Boeing company, but whoever the source is for this particular article, was essentially a week ahead of everyone else. So credit where credit is due. That's kind of it. That's kind of it for the news today. So, have you got any questions? Is anyone in the comments want to ask any questions? In fact, while we are on here, before I start doing other things, let's see what's going on with this Twitter war, because I think we're going to have a few more people asking me questions. I raise you one. So this is this so-called engineer / consultant. He's definitely a consultant, you can tell by the way he talks. There's no substance to what he says. Same as the above, cars aren't mass transit, loop is trash. Which is a bit, we don't need to go into these kind of derogatory terms. We can have a civilized debate, but unfortunately these people, very, very anti the Boeing company, very anti-Tesla, very anti-Elon Musk in general. They're just going to continue to attack him. Let's ask any questions. Any questions? was hoping for a couple of questions today, guys. What else can we talk about? So in terms of what this means for the actual Boring Company, this Las Vegas project is going to start. I presume they're going to finish it very quickly, in and around February, March 2020. On the basis of that project being completed, I anticipate that the people that deal with the Washington DC to Baltimore loop, they will loosen up a bit and probably very quickly, maybe within the coming months, approve the Washington DC to Baltimore loop. I expect the dugout loop. I expect the dugout loop to start fairly soon. Hopefully, by January of 2020, I'm expecting the dugout loop to get some kind of approval or start date at least. What other? We've got the project in San Jose as well, the one linking the airport. I think that is a great little project. It's one of my favourites other than the Las Vegas project. Hopefully that starts, say, the middle of next year, or at least we get some approval for that. So there's a lot of irons in the fire, as it were, for potential projects starting. It's going to be off the back of this Las Vegas project, off the back of them developing the TBM technology. So Linestorm, Proof Rock. Once Linestorm has been perfected, then we've got Proof Rock. Boom. Then hopefully we can be doing, big amounts of tunneling in under a year. I think potentially 1 TBM could potentially, and I use the word potentially here very heavily, do almost 6 miles of tunnel per year. So over the course of a year, I think 6 miles for 1 TBM is possible. Imagine if you had a team of 6 or 8 or even 10 TBMs, you could bang out a project in record time. Let's have a look and see if this, because I've not actually been on here since they've changed the project or approved the project. Before we go, any questions, anyone? I was hoping for some questions. What about you, Bubble Elvis? Have you got any questions for me? The render didn't show the tracking wheels to keep the pods. I think the shelves were there. It's just that I'm not sure if they've tarmacked the actual base of the tunnel. I need to have a look, but that's what I think's happened. So, come on, Mr. Computer. So this first of all, just to say quickly, this stream is working 100 times better than what it was last time I did it, and it's just by changing a few settings on my computer with Ecamm. So this is how we're going to stick with it for now. So it's not really changed. Standard autonomous electric vehicles are Tesla Model X and Model 3 vehicles. I don't think it remember it saying that last time. But high occupancy AVs use a modified Tesla X chassis to transport up to 16 passengers with both sitting and standing room. Yeah, it's kind of the same. This actual drawing is quite interesting because this is the future of the Las Vegas loop. I imagine that they'll extend it. I'm not sure why they're not extending it here rather than going up and then round. That seems a slightly bizarre way of doing it, but maybe they'll have another tunnel there. I'd imagine they'd extend it from the Las Vegas Convention Center initially down to the Mirage here and then see how that works out. And then if that's successful again, they might extend it down towards Terminal 1 or the Mandalay Bay. But that's the future. That's the future. Okay, so before I go, what shall we say? If you want to join in the discussion in regards to the Boring Company, please join me on my Discord channel. That is in the links below. If you've not already done so, subscribe on Twitter as well. I post all the news on there. what else? What else could you say? I've got an Instagram, but I've not really updated it for a while, but I will be doing that fairly soon. Definitely like and subscribe on YouTube. I've now monetized my account for the Boring Revolution, so every like and subscribe, every video advertisement that you watched, obviously that leads to a bit of money in my pocket, which goes towards this channel, which hopefully goes towards trips to Las Vegas to actually go and test out this system in March of next year. Right, so we got a question before I go. So there are only 3 stations. Yes. So there's like a middle station, and then there's stations at either end, which kind of makes sense. I think I read somewhere as well that there is a passenger tunnel. I'm sure I read that somewhere. There is a passenger tunnel, but there's no mention of that or on any of the actual drawings that I've seen. The actual tunnels, the stations themselves will look like that one that we talked about today that I discussed. So I'd imagine they'd be quite substantial excavations. They'll require quite strong and robust retaining walls, probably with quite considerable props in between them. How many destinations would be available to the tunnel passengers? So if you got on at the westmost station, you'd have the option of 2 other stations to stop at. Hopefully at some point the Las Vegas loop will be extended all the way down to the Mandalay Bay casino and the airport, so potentially then you might have up to 30 stops potentially. Yeah, I've read it somewhere, but there's just there's no actual description of why there is a pedestrian tunnel, where it goes to, or it's not even stipulated on any of the drawings, so I can't really talk about it that much, although it does kind of make sense. If you could have kind of a passenger tunnel that leads to an escalator that actually goes up into the actual convention centre, and then you're straight in where you need to be, really, rather than having to have everyone in the actual station itself. Maybe they'll have travelators in that actual tunnel. I mean, that's very, very feasible. You see a lot of travelators at airports. Why not have a 400, 500 metre travelator? I mean, maybe that's a bit too much. Maybe it'll only be 200, 300 metres long. I don't know. I can't tell you because I've not seen the drawings. So. Okay, guys. Thank you everyone for watching. Thank you Bubble Elvis for the questions. Appreciate everyone who's been watching the channel, supporting the channel, commenting, liking. Be ready for more live feeds coming soon. Let me know about the quality of this feed. If you like it, then please tell me. If you don't, also tell me so that I know I need to change something. But on this end, everything has worked absolutely swimmingly since I made those changes. So, thumbs up. See you next time, guys. Have a great day. See you later. Goodbye.